It's getting late. What's up, y'all? It's 1:30 in the morning. I don't expect for too many people to be here with me right now, but y'all gonna hear me out. Y'all gonna hear what I got to say on these YouTube streets. We're gonna talk about this Jessica Reid interview. I'm a couple of days late, but I wanted to talk about it. So, it is what it is. If you in the bushes or if you're here with us, go ahead and leave your comment and let us know what you think. Thumbs up the video as you come on in the building, or as you replay. Thumbs up is free to thumbs up. I do have one of my lovely subscribers up with us tonight, Free Reign. Okay. Period. You up. I promise not to keep y'all for long because I ain't got a whole lot of stuff to say, but we're going to talk about it. hmm I'm over here sipping my, what is this? My Simply Spike signature lemonade. So, we sipping it. I was just over here watching what's his name? The lead attorney. So I know folks is up. Y'all up. Y'all definitely up. Cause it's a couple of folks live right now. Y'all up. So, we still growing over here. So I don't expect for everybody to come on up in the building. I don't expect for everybody to drop down out of the bushes and come talk to us. And it's all good because we growing. Shout out to all my new subscribers. We got over 70 plus new subscribers last month. Okay. It is now the 8th day in the month and we're still growing. Let's keep that momentum by thumbsing up this video so Melthelipstickdiva will be in the algorithm. I appreciate y'all wholeheartedly. Our views are going up. We're at 29.6 thousand views right now. Okay. Yeah, so we going up. So keep supporting the channel, whether it's just a click, a view, a thumbs up, a membership, a Cashapp, a super chat, whatever. Support the Diva Gang. We appreciate you. Now, so I can get on with this thing. I ain't gonna wait because it's a little late. And Mel, I'm 30. I got a bed. Everything hurt. Thank you, Free Reign. Everything hurt right now. So Mel gotta go to bed. I done took me a hot shower. I got my jammy jams on in the bed. I'm gonna try to read this book before I go to bed. I'm gonna try that something new, The Negro in Business. I never got to finish this book, so I may talk to you all about this book. If you ever want to read it, it's by Booker T. Washington, The Negro in Business. Really good book so far. What I read. Anyhow, let's get into it. So we know that Tasha K interviewed Jessica Reid, which is the young lady that had an incident with Charlamagne the God in 2001. In that said incident, she was R-word, allegedly, and her mother did not allow her to testify. Uh, and two, the evidence was inconclusive. What's up, Volcane? How are you? How are you? Good morning, if you're on the East Coast. And with this situation, we kind of knew the gist of, but we didn't get the whole story like we got from Tasha K. Originally, she was on, I believe it's Choke No Joke or Choke No Hoke or whatever his name is. He brought out the production of her story and we got to see a little piece. We didn't get all the small pieces that really mattered. So we're going to unfold some of the most important pieces. So, big things for me. I like the fact that Tasha K allowed her to tell her story from a perspective of before this happened with Charlamagne the God. I never was on the stance of that she was totally lying. That was never a thing that I said before in my previous videos. I just was skeptical of a lot of things because I was not fully understanding of all of what was going on. So she was able to let us know. And this is for the people that were not able to watch the whole 3-hour interview because it was definitely 3 hours. So I walk so y'all can run. So in the interview, she explained how she was originally from New York. She explained how her father had passed from having AIDS. She talked about traumatic experiences where her mother had been the R word as well when she was young, and her grandmother had been as well. So you could tell that the mother had been going through trauma and never fully healed. So just like a lot of us Black women, we have mothers that do not know how to be there for us, because honestly, they're trying to be there for themselves to stay strong enough to get you by to be an adult so you're on your own and they can go back to dealing with their own traumas. Let's call a thing a thing. So that helped me understand it a little bit more why her mother opted to not let her testify, and she opted to get her to go to New York for the summer or however long. Um, she Jessica also mentioned as a child she has also been R-word by her godbrother. And in the midst of this thing happening with Charlamagne the God, her mother sent her to New York to stay with an uncle or aunt or something of that. I can't remember if it was aunt or uncle. But she told her daughter, Jessica, to go stay, well, not go stay, but go see her godmother, which is the mother to the godbrother that had R word her. So traumatic again, right? So this girl is going through all these traumas in her life. And it helps you pinpoint, like, I get it. Because a lot of us had the question of why would you let this young girl go with Charlamagne the God at the time? What was his name? Laverne. Is that his real name? Laverne and Shirley. I'm about to watch that when I get off here tonight, matter of fact. But the thing is, we questioned the mother, why would she let her daughter go with this young man? But the thing is, we didn't know the backstory of how the mother went through all these things. And we know that in the community of parents, it's seen as these are parents that just don't care. But it's more so they let their children be a little bit more free because of things that they maybe already had went through. And at the time, Jessica was, and I'll say this, y'all, the age is getting a little muddy because on Choke No Joke, the age was 15, but on Tasha, she was 14. Oh, Lamar, this his name? Okay. So I don't, she was between the ages of 14 and 15. And at the time, Charlamagne the Guy was 22. And I will say, I went and watched that 3 hour live, and I went back and watched Choke No Jokes live, well, his video documentary he put out. And her story stays pretty consistent. I'm going to tell you some cons that I really didn't enjoy. And it's just going to be me, no judgment on them, but it's just going to be me. She did say that she met Charlamagne the God through one of her friends, guy friends. So in my mind, I'm like, bro, that's a whole lot. But she did break it down with Tasha K that this young man was supposed to be an artist of Charlamagne the God. So he introduced her she introduced them. I mean, he introduced them, which still has me questioning, like, I don't understand, why are we being introduced to people that are grown as hell, you know? But whatever, that was their thing. He had took her and a friend out to lunch before, and her mother expressed in Choke No Joke that Charlamagne the guy was supposed to be their friend. And to me, that still don't sound right. What do you mean he was supposed to be y'all friend? Your daughter said on Tasha K that she didn't even want him to come upstairs to talk to you, but you insisted on meeting him. But you did not meet him until, what was it? I'm thinking, was it when they went out to lunch? I don't know. But he came up there and said that he wouldn't let anything happen to them. And that was supposed to be pertaining to the party. And my thoughts are, sir, I would have said no. If you don't carry your grown self on up the road, we not finna. My daughter not finna go with you nowhere. Y'all not going out to eat for what, sir? And she said she never asked the age. She just assumed that he was their age. I would have been questioning, like, Jessica, how old is this boy? When I was 14 or 15, I was not out riding with anybody. I didn't start riding with friends till I was about 16. And right a year later, I got a car right after that. I did hang with older friends. And trust and believe, my grandma and mama was hounding them down. And I ain't gonna say I was all goody two shoes because I did things when I was younger, but I never had the opportunity to bring a young man to my house to say, hey, I'm gonna go out to eat with this guy without them saying, how old is this man? Identifying, just digging in. And again, I'm always gonna stick by protect your kids. Anyways, we ain't gonna stick on that too long. Um, she spoke out about after the incident happened that her mom never told her what the verdict was. She always had the assumptions that Charlamagne the God was locked up. Now, before we get into that, just to explain what happened leading up to the party. So after they went out to eat, she's saying she don't know how Charlamagne the God got her phone number. She's assuming it's by the guy that she met him through. He invited her to the party that was supposed to be his birthday party. She ended up agreeing to go. She got her brother's girlfriend to go with her to the party. She said how she got in the car that something told her don't go. I'm going to be real with y'all. I find Jessica and her mama to be very dramatic. And this is no shade to them, not discrediting their story, but watching them on Choke No Joke and watching on Tasha K, very dramatic at some points. And it felt a little rehearsed. I'm going to be real with y'all. It felt very rehearsed on some points where it's like just a busting out crying at random moments. And again, it could truly be how she feels. So I cannot take away from that. But to me, it felt dramatic as hell. Okay. So she did bust out and cry when she said that part. At 16 and 17, me and my friends were wild. Thank God nothing happened to me. Yo, real shit. And I'm, like I said, no judgment zone, but when I got a car, I was away from home, but like just on some parenting, parents parenting and being on the prowl of what's going on with your kids. Nobody's parenting their right man when their child is between the ages of 13 and 15, ready to let you just get in the car with a man and pull off. Like, sir, I don't know. Can I see your ID? How old are you? Because she's stating that Charlamagne told her at one point that he was 18 when at that time he was 22. So this man like 50 now. He's like 50 years old. If he was 22 in 2001, he definitely, and wait, yeah, 20 years. Yeah, Charlamagne the God is, oh, look, y'all, I'm about to put extra age in this man. So he's like 42. He's like 42. Couldn't count for a moment, y'all. Anyway, that's beside the point. So she talks about how these cars pulled up, they pull off, they get to the party. This is where they bring up the part that Charlamagne the guy was talking about. He had put Spanish flies in women's drinks. And they're saying this was supposed to be a reference towards her. So she's saying this is what caused her to feel woozy and stop drinking. And her sister-in-law had also drank to the point where she threw up. And she couldn't get herself together. The sister-in-law couldn't get herself together, and Jessica couldn't either. And she was saying it was a point where they had took her upstairs. You say he a rough 42. I'm weak. Right. Definitely side-eyeing the mother like that. I don't want to place blame on the mama because I understand the traumatic experiences that she went through. But at the same time, knowing that she went through these traumatic situations, you would think that the mama would be more protective of her daughter in the same token, right? So anyhow, Jessica stated how it was supposed to, I can't remember the two guys' names she called, but she said that those two men took her to the bathroom and that they were fondling her and inserting their fingers in her. She mentioned that. So I got a question around that as well. Hey, getting lucky in Kentucky. Yes. Well, thank you for being here and listening. So, with that being said, these two men were doing these things to her while she was in the bathroom, right? Now, in between time, it was also an interview that was done with the sister-in-law, and the sister-in-law explained in that moment that while Jessica was upstairs experiencing that, Charlamagne that was downstairs trying to get with her. And she said when he felt like he couldn't mess with her or she wasn't budging, he moved on to Jessica. That's what she said. So these two guys doing these things to her, she said they kept coming in and coming out, and somehow she made it into a bedroom. With her making it into the bedroom, she said Charlamagne, the guy, came in. She could barely move her body, but she moved her body to the point where she could roll off the bed. Because at this time, she's saying like she just was out of her body. Hey, D Slade. She was out of her body, but she was coherent. She knew what was going on. And she said it was a point where Charlamagne the God was asking her to perform fellatio on him, and she wasn't doing that. He was trying to position her body, and it wouldn't get. She was not in the position he wanted her to be in. So beyond that, he then inserted himself inside her and proceeded to do what he wanted to do. So she said he asked her, didn't I tell you, or he stated, didn't I tell you I would take care of you? And when he said that, she said she just started to scream. With her screaming, he left out. And she was just screaming. Now, Charlamagne the guy did mention how this woman did tear up the room. I don't remember where or which interview I heard this on, but he said that she started to tear up the room and busting stuff up and acting crazy. In this interview, she admitted to doing those things, and she says she doesn't remember doing those things at all. Now, also, one discrepancy I found between Tasha K interview and Choke No Joke. In the interview with Choke No Joke, she said she didn't know who called the police. But with Tasha K, she said the sister-in-law called the police, called the mom, and the mom called the police. And that's when the police and ambulance came because they had to do an R-word kit on her. Now, another inconsistency with the stories that I find is that, okay, we know with the kit that the results were not matching up to his DNA. Something happened with the kit. But Tasha K tried to start her interview off saying that the reason why he could not get pinned with these charges is because her mother sent her away to New York. So it was too late to get the DNA sample off of her. So in that moment, I'm just like, wait a minute, I'm confused because as I listen more to the story, I'm like, okay, but this girl is saying that she was at home and she didn't come out of her room for days, things like that, prior to her going to New York. So if they did do the kit on her right at that moment, not to say he did not do it at all, I feel like she was trying to make the story more juicier than what it was. It's already a juicy story, but it's like adding things onto it. It's like if you're like me picking up different things, listening to both stories, it's like, well, wait a minute, hold on. The kit was done immediately after because she went straight to the hospital. So with their test being faulty, that has nothing to do with her going to New York. And from my thoughts, if she still would have been home days later, they wouldn't have gotten that DNA off of her because she would have washed and things like that. Facts, math ain't mathing. Oh Lord, the Raphael Sadiq girl. I don't know nothing about that. I gotta find out more information about that. And what was more messed up to me, getting back to what I was saying earlier, is that this woman, fast forward, being older, now having, I believe Jessica has 3 children. She even talked about her traumatic experiences with her baby father, how he would verbally abuse her and things like that. Because she said she never felt confident of herself. She just been going through this trauma. She's like, they moved to Virginia Beach, shout out to VA, and that's where she met her baby daddy, and they were living with her mother at one point, but she went through a lot of verbal abuse and things like that with him. So she's saying she was sitting down watching TV with her baby daddy one day, and she sees Charlamagne the God on TV. She said up until that point, she had no idea what happened to Charlamagne the God. And when she saw him on TV, she ran outside, and her baby daddy ran after her. She, at that point, confronted her mother because she's like, Mom, why is this man out and being able to be on TV? He does not deserve to have the success. Which I feel a way about that, because it's like, I get what you're saying, but then at the same time, you're like, he's not deserving of his successes. That makes it sound like a shakedown now. You feel me? Like now it's like, well, being that this could not be pinned on you because of my mother's negligence, you don't deserve these opportunities that you have, right? Because in reality, it's her mother's fault that Charlamagne the guy is not locked up and in jail, or having to be registered as a S offender. Follow me. So the mom brushed it off, really didn't want to talk about it. So this is what makes me kind of feel cringy about this situation, because how you let it go back then, but now you on camera talking about that you want to seek justice for your daughter and that you're so sorry that this happened, and you're busting out crying, you acting all dramatic and things like that. I don't get that part. And that's just me. That's just me. I honestly don't get that part, Mom. You dropped the ball. You dropped the ball. You didn't press the issue. You didn't windmill and fight for your daughter, or stood up for your daughter after you went through all these experiences. If you ask me, when you go through things like that as a woman or a man, a black person in general, woman or man, just people in general, but I speak for instance of what I know, what goes through our culture with generational curses. You would think that she would have wanted to stand up for her daughter and windmill for her, because no one did it for her when she went through her trauma. That's what behooves me. Like that takes me back, honestly. Like, how could you? And now the fact that you out here being all dramatic, I'm not buying your crocodile tears. You doing that because at this moment, your daughter is upset with you. Even though Jessica did not dog her mother in the interview with Tasha K, because Tasha K was still taken back just like I am on the situation with how her mother didn't stand up for her. Correct. Correct, Volcane. She didn't stand up for her when it mattered. And if your daughter never saw Charlamagne, and it's kind of hard for me to believe that she was just seeing Charlamagne the God. That's another thing. Charlamagne the God been on the Breakfast Club for years. How you just seeing him on TV, Charles? That was in 2017 when you first started seeing him. To me, this kind of give me the Stacey Dash. You know, Stacey Dash says she didn't know that DMX was dead, and this child saying she didn't know that Charlamagne the God was famous. It's giving me, you was minding your business real hard or something like that. But it and I have to go back and fact check that part, what year it was when she saw him. And she did say she saw him on, like, the video had panned towards him when she was on Wendy Williams. But I've heard about Charlamagne the God for years. That's why it's kind of hard for me to believe that it took her so long to know that Charlamagne the guy had came up. Like, y'all don't think that people from back home that knew what happened with her didn't ever say, yeah, Charlamagne, out here, or they calling him Charlamagne, he doing woo woo woo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have never sat back and be like, oh, this man's in jail. Like, I get it, as people, we tend to believe our parents a lot of times, especially because they're supposed to be our protectors. But that was very disheartening that had to happen that way. I will just say that. I don't know how, but it happened. Anyhow, they were able to stop him from getting a TV show because they wrote to they had like a judge to write to explain the matters that had happened. And they explained how he took a plea bargain because basically the mother did not let Jessica speak on stand. And they also tried to go back to the courts and get this case back open, but they found that this case can no longer be back, reopened, because he took the plea deal. And then also, I believe the statute of limitations. So all of that. And they're saying they will get justice. But my question is, what I'm getting from y'all is, okay, we're going to spread awareness. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Cool. And we're going to seek justice. How are you going to get justice because of your negligence for your daughter when you know for a fact that the court's not opening this case back up? I ain't saying that I am a lawyer. I know all of the laws, but I just want to know how, at this point, are y'all seeking financial gain from this? Jessica certainly can get financial gain from this. I feel like, in my eyes, because I felt like Tasha K, in reality, it was a good interview. Don't get me wrong, but I felt like Tasha K pried a lot, because it was like a lot of go ahead and step outside. Well, we got to get through this story. And Jessica's just like, do I have to speak on this? Do I have to say this? And she's like, well, I would like the people to know these things. It just felt like a lot of hard points that pushed Jessica to talk about what she went through. Wholeheartedly, I believe Jessica should have always created her own platform and talked about this situation for her own financial gain. If this really truly is about getting your story out, I feel like you should have did it on your own platform to gain you some financial gain. Not for anybody else, not Choke No Joke, not Tasha K, but for yourself. Write a book. Bring awareness that way. You will probably be able to create organizations and get people on your team, because what has happened to you and how, because your parent dropped the ball, how this person is able to still walk around. At the same time, some people feel like, why are you trying to ruin this man's life? Because I kind of feel it as well. He does have children. And it's like, now your children, they're in school. His kids got to go through other children calling their dad names. And that sends off another spiral of more generational curses that can be created. Coming from their father and what he did when he was a young man. And now it's this woman out here that's putting this information out that's going to stick it to the man, basically. It's crazy. This is a very crazy situation. It's unfortunate that her parent dropped the ball. Like, I truly want to keep going back to that the parent dropped the ball in this case, and that this woman, has to go through these therapies. She claims that she got a twitch, her lip twitches now from this. She just talks about all these disorders that she's gained, but she's saying she didn't gain these disorders until she found out that he wasn't locked up. That's what she said. So, child, this was a whole lot to unpack. If you ask me, it was a whole lot to unpack. I hope that she doesn't go on anyone else's show, but to have her own YouTube, TikTok, whatever, for her own financial gain so that she can get it out there in the world and not have someone else gaining money off of her. Because I swear it was some very awkward moments. And we know Tasha K as a blogger on these YouTube channels. She loves breaking a story first. She loves having the juicy details and having this professional like type of persona. So it's like, was this genuine? You know, she did show her empathy to talk about the traumatic situation she went through as well, to relate to her. I don't know. You never can tell with people. You never know what they are doing and why they are doing things. Um, man, what's up next? Y'all think Charlamagne the guy gonna sue Tasha next? He gonna say she providing defamation. Then again, I don't know. He might not say anything. He gives off that celebrity that don't respond. You know, he's not one of your Lizzos. You know, Lizzo and Cardi B, they be down in the crowd swinging on the fans. Versus, what you say really about Volcane? Versus Beyonce and Rihanna, Jay-Z, they don't respond to people. They don't respond to people. So he might be one of those. I don't know. I really don't know. Good interview. Crazy things, some ups and downs, very dramatic, might I add. Will this be a case closed? I don't know. We just got to see what's up next, y'all. Honestly. And the fact that, you know, she has two daughters, I hope that this does not impact them in any type of way because they had to see their mother go through these things. Um, Hopefully she has gotten help. I believe she said she has went to therapy. Um, Man, crazy, crazy. I do have a question before we end this live, and this could be y'all drop down from the bushes, you know, when you're doing the replay. But do you feel like he should still be beaten down by something that he did in his early 20s? And I'll answer the question for you all. You know, you reap what you sow, right? We all heard that saying before. You reap what you sow. You know, you made your bed, you got to lay in it. Honestly, to me, I feel like what may help him is speaking out publicly about this situation, or even having a roundtable with Jessica Reid. You know, maybe coming to the red table with Jada Pinkett and talking about that night, because I feel like nothing will ever change until you talk to that person. But again, that might not be a safe space for her because she might feel trauma, being in a safe space with him. But at the same time, you know, when Tasha K asked her, was it anything that she wanted to say to him? And she was like, you never called to check on me. You never check back in. You act like you don't know me. You act like I was just a stranger. To me, it feels like she just genuinely wants to hear from him and to hear him say, I'm sorry. This is, oh yeah, Volcane, right, that part. You know, it just sounds like she just wants to talk to him and have an understanding. And I'm here for that conversation. Like, if Jada Pinkett can set this up a round table and get them to agree, like, Charlamagne God, the world wants to hear from you, you know? Like if you're sitting right in front of someone and they're telling you, like, Charlamagne, this is what I felt like you did to me. I also want to add, I feel like people are reaching when they talk about how his wife looks like Jessica. His wife looks nothing like Jessica. The only thing they have in common is the skin. They might have the same complexion. I don't know about the other stuff. I really don't know about them looking alike. I really can't. Y'all reaching with that one. Like, folks be out here reaching heavenly. And the last thing I have to say is, going back to those other two guys that were in the bathroom doing those things to her, why were they not fucking charged or even put up on the stand? That is beyond me. She explicitly said nobody else's name was on the paperwork but Charlamagne the guy. One go, they all go. They all assaulted you. They all assaulted you. That's what makes me think that a part of this is a money grab. You said yourself you won't even think about that shit until you see him on TV. You knew of him because you knew he worked for a radio station. So why was he the only one on that paperwork? That never was even mentioned, and I get it. You can't. This is not no victim shaming, but I truly wholeheartedly feel like they need to be up there too. They cause part of your trauma. But hey, who am I? I ain't nobody but a small blogger. Melthelipstickdiva, y'all. But listen, I ain't gonna hold y'all all night. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I know we gotta all get on with our day. Y'all already know. Before we get out here, the people that I do have up in here, go ahead and drop those lipsticks or cigarettes before you go on up out of here. It's the Diva Gang. Again, thank you so much for our new subscribers. Please thumbs up. Whether you're coming down and replaying this video, or if you're here with us right now, thumbs up before you leave. You already know what it is. It's me, it's Mel with the Lip in the Gap. Mel the Lipstick Diva. Peace out, y'all.